We are going to start with the minutes of the previous meeting. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. We have our items on the consent agenda, transportation and land bank. Are there any, do I have a motion on those? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we are on to the regular agenda, and we have transportation. Commissioner Voss.
Good morning. We have a number of resolutions this morning in support of our 2025 highway work plan, which should have, a copy of which should have been delivered to all of you. I have an updated copy with maps. If anyone's interested, we can provide those as well. We have the first two items are bond resolutions to support the highway and bridge work that we're going to be doing this year. So item A is the bond resolution for $6 million to support the first page of the work plan. If you look at the work plan document, you can see on the on the top column where the money comes from. So our 2025 operating budget is what was adopted in the fall. The CHIPS is based on a formula that comes from the state, which we are pretty comfortable assuming we're going to get at least that baseline amount. I hear there's a state budget in some way, shape, or form. I haven't seen any sort of substantive report of what that means for DOT yet, but we certainly hope that it'll be greater than the number that's listed here. And then the bond issue, this shows what our local bond that we're asking you all to support goes to and how it's broken down. And then the last column is the federal aid that supports our major infrastructure projects. And then the totals are on the far right column, so you can see all in between the cash in our operating budget, the state funds, the bond, and the Fed aid. We're looking at in the neighborhood of $43 million in work this year on the county infrastructure system. So as I said, item A is the highway bond for $6 million.
Second.
On CHIPS, I had first seen that the state was reducing it. Are you optimistic that it's either at the same level or maybe more?
I have heard that from some of my peers around the state. They were concerned that that was going to happen. Haven't seen what it actually means yet.
Okay. Could you let us know if there's
I may call one of your former colleagues later today and see if he can tell me.
Okay, great, thanks. Brian?
Just a quick question. I know we have a motion in a second.
Yeah.
Marty, year to year, you guys have always been pretty accurate in terms of estimating chips and stuff like that. What kind of variance do you typically see when you...
Well, as you know, Brian, in the even-numbered years, for some reason, there's more money that comes out of Albany, and then in the odd-numbered years, it goes back to a baseline. So we had those. Remember, we had the Pave Our Potholes program and the EWR, Emergency Winter Recovery, in 3 years when we had mild winters. And there's a couple of other ones. Whatever they want to cook up, it all goes through the same CHIPS Marchicelli formula, and we get a pro rata share of that based on our mileage. So we'll keep on top of it, but they change the name, but the game is the same every year, if that makes sense.
Thanks.
Okay, motion second, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Okay.
Item B is the bridge bond to support the bridge projects that are listed in the work plan. That's $1,450,000.
Questions? Okay. Julie moves it.
Second.
Dave seconds it. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Okay.
Thank you. Item C is an amendment to the bond that, I don't remember who was even here in 2017 when I brought this over, but Dave was. We're actually taking the residual bond balance that's left, we're asking to take the residual bond balance that's left on our North Area highway bond and use that for some other capital projects that we need at Marcellus, which thank you again for your help with that, and Jamesville, that are things that we would, if we do them now, we will save money. If we wait much longer, we're going to be coming in for a much larger capital ask. So the thought was to, since we were able to save so much money on North Area by not tearing the building down and by rebuilding it after COVID, we are asking to be able to basically do the same thing at Marcellus and Jamesville on those two shops that need a little TLC right now. The TLC being a sewer line at Marcellus to connect us to the municipal sewers there, get us off septic. We're a very big facility to be on septic. So Julie was great about getting some assistance from the village and coming to meetings and talking with us about what we were doing and that we weren't going to put uranium in the drain, things like that.
Questions? Brian?
Thank you, Marty. So this is old, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Money source is pretty old.
Well, I'd rather ask you to repurpose old money than ask you for new money.
I totally agree with you. I just wonder what the logistics are. I'm going to kind of turn back and, I mean, we borrowed what we needed for the north area, but you have an authorization to borrow more, basically. What's the process here, Steve?
Yeah, so the original bond was authorized for the renovation of North Area. So that project came in under budget. So we borrowed what was needed for the project. There's, $2.9 million left in authorization there. But since it's 4 different highway garages and capital assets, we had to have a resolution to repurpose that money. We couldn't just use it because it was specific to North Area. So when, it came time to consider these capital projects, it made the most sense to look at, as Marty mentioned, old money that, we never had to borrow for because, Marty and his team did a nice job in managing that project. It made the most sense to repurpose it for these other 2 facilities to get them some tender loving care because I think they need them, as Marty mentioned. So,
Thanks.
Any other questions? No? Oh, Dave?
Just real quick, just wanted to compliment you one more time on the decision to do that, to do Camillus, to fix it up, and the North Area came out absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
And to be under budget.
And we've got a better building now, too.
And you got a better
We were
building,
able to
yeah.
preserve the really quality construction from the 1950s that make that building what it is. That building will last another 100 years now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll move it.
Okay. Marty, will this get you done? There's enough there to get done what you need to get done?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, good.
Aye.
Second, all in favor? Opposed? Actually, what we're going to do is,
Oh, no, this one's fine, yeah.
oh, vote on this one, and then on the next ones, you can just keep going, and then we'll bundle them all together. Okay, so this one is fine?
Yep.
All in favors? Okay, go ahead.
You voted on that one?
Yep.
Okay. D, now we're going to get into the federal aid resolutions, which are the pay in the first instance resolutions that we have to have every year for the state to prove that the legislature has authorized us to front the money, which is all reimbursable from the state and federal government through the State Department of Transportation to cover these federal aid projects, which are our bigger road reconstruction, bridge projects in the work plan. And there's narratives for each of these at whatever stage of gestation they're in the process, in the federal process. There's a narrative in the work plan on those. I don't think you want me to read all those. We'll be here all afternoon. Item D is this is the continuing design of Loop the Lake. So this first phase will go from Bloody Brook to about 1,700 feet south of the railroad bridge, and then phase 2 is the connection from the Parkway to Murphy's Island. That is the key connection that will actually finish looping the lake. So this is just to advance the design funds to keep that process moving forward. Item E is for Route 57 from Pine Hollow to Calder Court. This is a 2026 construction project. And $5.32 million. Item F is for Henry Clay Boulevard and Bear Road in the town of Clay, or Buckley Road, excuse me. This is the Buckley Road project from Henry Clay to Bear Road in the town of Clay. This is expected for a letting in 2027. Item G is a bridge project, Peck Road Bridge over Chittenango Creek. And this is additional, this is in the town of Manlius. And construction is anticipated in 2027. We do have an IMA with Madison County to cover. We're going to do the project. They're going to pay half the cost because it's a shared bridge. H is the Three Rivers Bridge up your way, Brian, in the town of Clay. This is a newer project we're just getting into. So this is another intermunicipal agreement with Oswego County where we'll do the project, they'll cover half the cost, and this is for scoping and design this year into next year, anticipated construction in 2031. Item I is Buckley Road from Hopkins to Taft. This is a paving and drainage system project. Construction anticipated in 2027. And then item J is the Limestone Plaza Bridge in the village of Fayetteville. We've gone back and forth with them. We're at the point now where we think we're going to be able to get this thing built in 2026.
Questions? Questions? Lots of bridge and road work being done.
Real quick.
Dan?
You know, there's obviously a lot of construction going on with the I-81 project.
You noticed?
Yeah. Just this morning, as a matter of fact. Obviously, getting north and south from my neck of the woods can be a challenge.
East and west is no day at the beach either.
Yeah. Any coordination between, I know it's a loaded question, probably.
There is room for improvement in communication with the state.
Okay. Just so we're
on
not
everything.
blocking off roads at the
No,
same
we
time
do
they're really
we
cutting
do plan
things?
that. You know, we do get some curveballs thrown occasionally that,
Yeah.
you know, hey, we're going to take down the South Bay Road Bridge in January.
Yeah.
You know, there's room for improvement with the staff communication. I maintain a pretty aggressive dialogue, not aggressive, assertive dialogue with the regional director to make sure we're on the same page and he knows what we're doing and where we're doing it, particularly where we have things that converge.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot going on right now. It's going to be a very, very intensive construction period for the next 3 or 4 years between the I-81 project, which has been long awaited, the stuff that we're doing to try to keep up with growth in the community, and then you add on to that some of the other projects that are starting to happen. You know, Cottonwood Road will be closed on Monday.
Yeah.
Because WEP is doing their sewer work up there. There's a lot right now. It's the most I've ever seen in my time here. It's all good stuff, though. It's just,
good problem to have,
you're going to have, people are going to get fed up. I'm the commissioner of the DOT, and I can't figure out how to get home. You know, 695 is now blocked off. I was just talking to Ben Yaus about that. It's like strategic every night to figure out what's, yeah.
Not boring. Yeah.
No, it's definitely not boring, but I'm finding a lot of new rural roads that I had never traveled before. There you go. Armstrong Road was the other day. I used that to get home. So it is what it is. I think it's all good stuff for the community, and it's all a net positive. You know, there's a lot of federal and state money coming in to build stuff here. When it's all done, it's going to be great. It's just the growing pains of getting there is going to be a challenge for the next couple of years, and people's patience does wear thin. You know, we're used to getting calls when we have to close a road for a half an afternoon to do a paving project and somebody can't get to Wegmans. Now it's like, you know, some of these things are going to be closed for weeks at a time.
Okay. Any other questions?
I'll move.
You have a
E
motion?
through J.
Nadeja, you have a question?
No,
You want to second it? Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you all.
Yep, thank you. Next is economic development. There you go.
Working. Hi, good morning, everyone. Bob Petrovich here to talk about the fund balance resolution. I think maybe there's a minor point of clarification. It's listed as $33 million, which I think is the aggregate amount, but I'm here to talk about the $27 million the semiconductor supply chain proposal that has been put forward. There are two other colleagues here to talk about the OCHIP component of this, as well as the AI technology investments. And so I wanted to just talk this morning about the $27 million fund balance that is being put forward in support of the Micron project, but other projects in the community as well, in order to make sites shovel-ready for supply chain investment that's going to be occurring all across the county. One of the things that we've learned from the process that we've been embarking upon is that you need to have sites in order to get projects, and we're looking to use this funding to assemble sites in support of Micron, but the broader cluster that we have in our community and the larger ecosystem that is being developed across the state. Specific to Onondaga County, we're looking at supporting supply chain activities associated with companies that we're talking to in Asia, be it Japan, Korea, or Taiwan. Certainly supply chain companies that are already located in the U.S. and the potential to come here and locate here in support of what's being developed with Micron, as well as On Semi, who's making approximately $120 million investment in DeWitt, also serving Wolfspeed in Utica, and potentially Global Foundries in Saratoga, and then also going west into Ohio to support the the Intel projects that is occurring there. So this is, we do have targeted sites. We need this funding to be able to secure those sites and then advance those sites to a shovel-ready condition so that foreign investment that is considering locating here feels comfortable about making a substantial investment in our community. So we've gone through the Planning and Economic Development Committee already, articulating this in some detail.
Okay, questions? Dan?
Thanks, Bob. So let me start by saying I think we need to support our suppliers, and just trying to figure out how and why we're taking this approach. So how many sites do we expect to accumulate with the 27 million?
I'm sorry, what was that? I'm a little hard of hearing.
That's okay. How many sites do we expect to be able to get shovel-ready with this?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know because we haven't negotiated any transactions yet. We do have one transaction that we have under contract that is expanding the science and tech park that we have south of the Micron campus, and that project has been negotiated, and we're obviously looking to use these funds in order to secure that property to make that site bigger. There are supply chain companies that need to be right across the street from Micron, as Micron has requested, but there are other folks that can be further away, whether it's a mile, 2 miles, 10 miles within the county. There will be some, obviously, supply chain folks that locate outside of the county, but in terms of what we're trying to do here, we're trying to target, whether it's chemicals, gas, materials, along with a host of other potential companies. We're trying to figure out what their needs are, And invariably, they want to be able to own the dirt. You know, they're not interested, generally speaking, in lease arrangements, and so we want to be able to stand those up. You know, generally, we're looking at, it could be, you know, 30-acre blocks of property, so we want to amass a larger site that we can kind of concentrate the activity there, but I don't have, you know, I don't have deals that are negotiated, so I don't know exactly, you know, how far we'll be able to stretch that money, but we're obviously, I'm always deal-oriented, and I'm focused on that kind of outcome.
Okay.
Charles?
Yeah, how are you? Thank you for
I'm
coming.
good. How are
I just
you?
had a question, and it's very assuring. I see that it says that the 27 million is actually a loan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how will that be repaid?
Well, subject to terms and conditions negotiated between the IDA and the county, that contract doesn't exist, and we haven't negotiated terms yet. But, you know, the intention is to pay that money back through IDA fees and sales of land, and that's the intention over the life horizon of whatever we agree to as an agreement between the county and the IDA.
Okay, and the contracts, the agreement, that will be shared so that we can see that at that time, or what?
I'm assuming that'll be a public document.
Yes.
You know, it's going to be between the IDA and the county, so I would imagine at some point, yes,
Okay, thank you.
sure, of course.
No, did you have your hand up? Not yet. Okay. Brian?
I think that conversation was too simple. And it's a little different than what we just, on the last question. So good question. Maybe we should dive a little deeper here to be clear and put a level set on expectations. These are based on conversations we've had previously, both in these meetings and with the administration, as to what these loans are. I believe it's callable loans is the term used. And the reason they are callable is because it's a very fluid formula, if you will, on where the benefits and gains are to be had. Yeah, we may get fee money back on some of these deals that can actually be drawn back into Onondaga County. We also may get a ton of jobs, ton of houses, ton of property taxes, ton of wealth being brought into the community that may change the outlook on the need to call those loans. It's a little, I just think we need to be clear on expectations, not to just simplify and say, hey, this is a loan that's going to be paid back by X via contract. I believe it's a little more of a fluid situation with that, and I believe everybody in this room needs to be comfortable with that and realistic with those expectations. That's all.
Sure, I don't disagree with that.
Okay, I just think that it's important to raise that point
Well,
in
there's,
these conversations.
if I'm understanding you, which I hope I am, there's going to be a lot of cascading economic activity associated with standing up supply chain companies that are going to be coming to our community. I think my numbers are correct, but Micron has, and this is not all about Micron, it's about the broader ecosystem, but Micron has about 900 companies that they do business with. If we pick up 5% or 10% of those, it's going to have a dramatic effect on the economic activity within our county, because those are going to be another 5,000 or 6,000 jobs that will be coming here, which are going to require housing, which are going to require property taxes, which are going to have property taxes associated with those housing efforts, and also sales tax, which, as everybody knows, was what runs county government. And so we're expecting, you know, a wave of positive activity as a result of this, not just getting land and standing up companies,
Right.
which is in and of itself very important. But is that where you were? Is that where you were going?
Pretty much.
Okay.
And I think it's important to be realistic about what we're doing here, because, you know, if we have a loan contract with terms and amortization or whatever it is we work out, that money's coming back. And that money may be better utilized reinvesting in the next deal. And so I just, you know, Charles, it was a great question, but I think we just have to have a broader view on how this investment gets leveraged into the future. That's all.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, not disagreeing with anything Bob said, but I'm also just let's be real about what we're doing here too, that's all.
No, did you?
Yes, with that being said, I did have a question, and this question was also brought up before too, but just what metrics are we using to judge the success of these
What
projects?
metrics are we using for what, I'm sorry?
What metrics are we using to judge the success of these projects?
Well, businesses locating here would be a pretty obvious metric. You know, one of the things that's critical to understand and as part of the broader conversation is Micron in and of itself is great, but Micron's not going to be successful unless they have their vendors and suppliers and a support network here to be able to give them what they need to manufacture, right? These people are here are manufacturing chips. They have consumables that they use. They have machines that need to be calibrated or replaced. And all of these companies that are here in support of them drive that success for Micron. So one of the things that we encounter when we're talking to Japanese, Korean, Taiwanese, or even European or American companies is, how do I get here with the least possible stress? Many of these companies, not all of them, but a fair number of them are family owned, and they're going to be making significant capital investment in the community. They haven't done business here before. You know, most of this has always been done offshore. This reshoring of the supply chain here is and what we're trying to do is reduce impediments and barriers to making foreign direct investment in the United States. If you're in Asia, you're very concerned about how do I do this and how do I get there? I've never done business here before. So we're trying to create an environment where they feel like it's a seamless approach. We get them there, you know, we're going to help with their right to build approvals. We're going to help with, obviously, their seeker review. We're going to help with foreign trade zone issues that they may have. And so this is a kind of a Gordian knot of issues that we need to solve in order to get them to feel comfortable about locating here and making investment. And these investments are, you know, multi-million-dollar investments that they're going to be doing. And a lot of it is family money. Some of it is obviously corporate money. And so we're trying to give them comfort that we can not necessarily turnkey something, but get them very comfortable that they can pick a site here and within 18 to 24 months be up and running in support of all of the companies that we mentioned across the ecosystem. Certainly Micron, but Wolfspeed, Global Foundries, onsemi, IBM in the Hudson Valley, and so that's what the end game is. And so in terms of your metrics, assembling sites and having folks make decisions about, hey, yes, we want to be here, this makes sense for us, that'll be the clearest and most obvious metric that we'll have.
Julie?
Thanks, Bob. So I'm piggybacking off of Dan because it's so much, right? All of this is so much. I'm trying to visualize, and I'm all for, and I get the argument that if you build it, they will come, and that's the model they use. So we need to do that and be comfortable with that to make Micron a success. But when you talk 33 million and 900 companies they work with, are you talking 15 we're shooting for, 40? There's got to be some sort of number.
Well, if you talk to my boss, he wants them all.
Oh, okay, so all would be what? All would be what? I'm literally trying to picture this.
Look, we're going to have a good question. I'll try to give you a good answer. We're trying, we have a couple hundred acres immediately south of White Pine. Obviously, we can't develop 200 acres. There's some wet areas on the property. There are going to be some setback requirements. And so if we can get 3, 4, 5 companies to locate there on 10, 15, 20 acre blocks of land, that would be a big win.
Okay.
But that doesn't finish the race, right? So we need, other sites that are available that we can secure with this funding to be able to say to them, don't worry about it. Here, you can go here on this, I'm making this up, on this 200 acre site. What 20 or 30 acre block of land is most appealing to you? It's going to be a little bit like, whoever comes first is going to probably get a great deal. And then as we move further down the pipe, maybe the deals are not as attractive, robust, whatever word you want to use,
Okay, all right. Thanks.
Yep, thank you.
A lot of good questions, Dan.
Yeah. So the question previous to Legislator Abbott is the one that I'm thinking about when you were mentioning overcoming seeker and zoning or a few other things. So I agree that we should help companies overcome those things, especially because they're coming from outside and those can be burdensome. But with a company that's going to make hundreds of millions of dollars in investment here, why do they need our money to do that? Our technical support, I can agree. We have knowledge of the area. We have knowledge of all the companies that are trying to come here, and we should help them with that. But I don't understand why they need the money to acquire the land and our help with that.
Well, we're acquiring the land and being preemptive and acquiring the land up front. It's our intention to sell them the land when they pick a spot where they want to locate. It's not like we're buying the land for them. We're buying the land for ourselves, and then as a company says, I need whatever, X, and we'll say, okay, we will subdivide this larger site, and X is going to cost you as part of the deal. It'll be a real estate transaction. They'll be paying for the land.
So who are we loaning the money to?
Well, you're going to be loaning the money to the IDA.
Yeah.
And then OSIDE is going to...
That's, their agency is authorized to be able to do those types of deals where we can't go and do that as a county, correct? That's why the IDA was established.
Right.
So then I'll change my question a little bit. Sorry, I misunderstood that before.
It's okay.
Why isn't OSIDA using the technical support that they can garner through people opposed to acquiring, so that they're not also taking on that burden? Because what are they going to potentially buy acres and acres of land that somebody's not going to want because they're going to choose a different spot?
Well, I think that question is not totally accurate. We're being I like to think I know what I'm doing. And
Yeah.
I think the county executive, I'm sure he knows what he's doing. And so we're being strategic about what we're looking to acquire. We're not just going out and looking at picking up 100 acres in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. We want to make sure that all of the critical utility infrastructure is there or very close by in order to be able to stand up a site and support this kind of investment. So we're being strategic with respect to what we're looking for and areas that we think will support this kind of an ecosystem. The proof will be in the pudding, and the pudding is going to be coming soon. We need to finish a couple of things that we're involved with, but we have conversations that are very mature. We don't have deals inked yet, but we have people that are seriously considering coming here, and we've shown them some stuff that we have under control. That's not going to last very long. And so we need a broader scope of opportunity to be able to secure future investment in and around our community. It's as simple as that. And the private sector, is only interested in making real estate deals. We're interested in creating an economic development opportunity that is broader than that. We're not all about being a developer and squeezing every dime we can out of the real estate and the build. We're looking at, okay, what is your capital investment? How many jobs are you creating? And how are you doing that so that it supports you, Micron, the broader community, and also supports Onondaga County and what it's trying to do?
Julie?
I was going to ask you about how big of a concern is the real estate market? And I know, I had somebody call me, I passed him along to you guys that, I have my business, I want to sell it for $8 million to you guys. So are you dealing with that too? Are you worried that these sites are going to go away? You want to get out in front of it, and you also want to stay ahead of the market, or?
Yes.
Okay, all right, just confirming.
Thank you.
Nadisha?
Yes. I'm glad that you mentioned the ecosystem. I did have a question. I know Micron is subject to put out a draft environmental impact statement.
Mm-hmm.
Would these other companies also be required to put out statements as well?
So similar to Micron, and let's change it to White Pine. Similar to what we did at White Pine, once upon a time, we had a block of land there, and through an iterative process, when we were looking at attracting semiconductor investment to the community, it became clear that we did not have a big enough site for their current and more importantly, their expansion needs. So it became clear to us that we needed to make White Pine bigger, right? From the roughly 40 acres that we had to what is almost 1,400 acres today. That was an education for us in trying to understand that business and that industry, okay? So what we're trying to do is, and so what we did as part of that process is, not knowing that we had Micron at the time, is we did a generic draft environmental impact statement. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to do a generic draft environmental impact statement because that's one of the things that delays you as part of the process, is having to go through seeker. So we're going to try to preempt that by doing a generic study that says, assuming we can have these kinds of companies here, we go through that process now on land that we control, so that when a specific company comes to us, we have already calculated into that matrix of review that they would fall underneath that. So all we would have to do is a supplement to that generic study, and then they would be able to be approved to locate on that site.
Okay, did he answer your question? So any new sites? Yes. Yeah, okay.
Did I answer it or no?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. Sometimes I just, okay,
Dan?
sure.
Just real quick, first, I would like a side meeting because there's details that clearly I need to understand. But with White Pines, we created that space because Micron didn't have a reason to come here before, and by creating that space, we gave them a reason to come here. But with the suppliers, Micron is their reason to come here, and they have a financial incentive of being close to Micron to come here. So why do they need more of an incentive?
Well, let me flip the question back to you.
Yeah.
If you had a business and you wanted to invest in Japan, how would you go about doing that? It'd be a heck of a journey, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess yes, they have to. Some of them have to be here. Some of them don't. And so, and some of them are on the fence. And so the question really is how do we ensure Micron's success? Micron's success is driven by not only what they're doing, but what they need in terms of support. So I think it's, no disrespect intended, I think it's a little short-sighted to have that point of view that, they'll figure it out on their own.
So
I think we want to drive the conversation, and we want to drive the agenda, and we want to drive the success.
yeah, and to your point of me going to Japan, I would need a lot of technical support and assistance, but if I'm going to put $200 million into Japan, to spend money on land and acquiring spaces, we can talk offline. It's okay. Because I have more questions, just like I said, in understanding that I need to do. I'm still trying to figure it out.
I think there's businesses out there too that are probably not, Micron is not just their only client, that they have other businesses. So those are the ones that we are trying to get here for that reason. The other thing is if we're driving it, we're saying where they can go and where they're not going to go. And in our county, it'll give us a better spread out of all of the wealth too. Why is Clay getting it all where we might be able to drive it where maybe South is getting some and West is getting some?
I think it's important to understand that Micron won't be successful unless they have a supply chain here to support them. Micron has identified critical companies that they think need to be located somewhere proximal to their location, right? And so if we want Micron to succeed, then we have to take the initiative and help get these companies here. Some of them are reaching out to us. We're reaching out to others at the direction of Micron, and we're trying to figure out where are the best places, given their strategic importance to the overall project that's being developed, where should they be? And so, some of them, again, across the street, maybe a mile away. Some of them can be, further away than that. I think that if we don't take the initiative, I think we're going to be at risk for something less than complete success, and I don't think anybody wants that.
Yeah, I want to support all the companies. I think that they need support, and we should be supporting them. I just think that the technical support is the avenue that.
We're providing technical support,
Yeah.
but every question is, where can I set up my business? Where do I go? Some have hired real estate people to look for sites for them, and they're drawn to what we have. They're not drawn to just generic garden variety, plain vanilla real estate transactions on fields in the middle of nowhere that don't have any infrastructure. So they're looking to us to help them understand, where do I get my gas? Where do I get my water? How do I get rid of my wastewater? And where do I get my electric from?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good.
You're all set. Okay. Chair?
So OSIDA is doing their job, which is the Onondaga County Industrial Development Agency, and that is their job, which is to develop industrial areas. And to the point that you just detailed a little bit, when these foreign companies from foreign countries come, they're not going to call a local real estate agent to ask about where to go. They're going to need more detail. They're going to demand more detail. And OSIDA is the right place for them to land, because they're going to need access to, you just said, folks who know about infrastructure and power and all of these things and what's going on in the area. And, it's just, this is, what we're talking about is big business, and this is how big business, international business, how they conduct themselves. They're not going to call somebody that they do not know, and or they might, but the folks who do know would refer their client to the right spot, which would be OSIDA, and that's, I think, the idea of what we need to understand. What does OSIDA do? What is their purpose? This is what they do. They develop industrial development areas.
Brian?
And supply and demand gets us to this point that we're at today. Real simple. Supply and demand gets us to this point that we're at today. Dan's right. Supply chain's going to follow micro. So this is where we leverage generational investments that have been made in White Pines and in the community and our overall economic infrastructure to be able to say, okay, where do we go from here? How do we leverage all of this to make sure here means Onondaga County, not Herkimer, Oneida, Oswego, whatever, because that's the stage we're at right now. Supply and demand can take care of itself naturally, but what happens from here is the key, and it's decisions like this that make the difference. So
You're absolutely correct, because we are competing. We are competing for these supply chain companies, just like Binghamton's competing for them in their ecosystem, just like Oneida County's competing them in support of the ecosystem they've established there with Wolfspeed. Certainly Global Foundries is competing. And so, one of the things that we don't want to have happen is we don't want to have another Edwards Vacuum locate out its stamp when we felt like they should locate here. And so, to be able to avoid that, we're being proactive, we're being focused on what we're trying to attract here. And again, initially, it's going to be, it's going to be proof of concept, right? It's going to be, we get the first couple of deals done, I think things get easier and things get better.
You all set? Okay. Charles, you're good? No, Deja? Okay. Good, a lot of good questions. This is a very important issue, and I appreciate, Bob, all your insight on it.
Thank you.
We're ready to make a motion?
No, we got to do.
Oh, okay, okay. You can, we're set with you then.
Appreciate it. I
We
love it
don't
when
do
people
those
say I'm set.
individually. We gotta do them all as a one.
Thank you.
Next. Yeah, okay. The housing part of it.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm here to ask for $5 million from the transfer to go towards the OCHIP program. The OCHIP program has been very successful. To date, we have awarded funding that'll create over 1,700 units. We've awarded just about $7 million, and that's leveraging over $600 million in development throughout the city and the county. And just some overall numbers, the market rate housing is 53% of the total units. Mixed income is 19%, and affordable is 28% of that total units. 68% of the units are within the city of Syracuse, and 32% are outside the city of Syracuse in the county. And we are still getting a lot of interest in it, and so we want to put some more money into it to keep it going. We have a feeling this fall, when things get underway with Micron, we should see an influx, so we want to be ready for it.
You got a question? Brian? Yeah.
Marty, how you doing?
Fine, how are you?
What have we appropriated so far for OCHIP? It's north of 20, right? 22?
The original OCHIP was 10 million. Then we did, last year with the fund balance transfer, we did three $5 million pots. One was for senior housing, one was for infrastructure, for infill, and another one was for, I believe it was directed towards solely affordable projects.
So 25 million total toward housing. Thank you.
Dan?
Yep. So those $5 million aren't included in the $6 million that's gone out, or those numbers that you gave in the other meeting, correct?
Yeah, the 5 million they're directed really towards very specific things.
Yeah.
So they'll take a little longer to spend.
Okay.
Like the senior is directed at more of a development of like a senior community that has a bigger footprint than just building a senior housing building that we would fund under OCHIP.
Okay.
The infill is to do a project that's on a site. So for instance, in Liverpool by the Amazon warehouse, they're talking about doing an apartment project over there, but it's just been a big field. It was a driving range. So there's no infrastructure in there at all. So the money would go towards supporting what has to be done. But we want to do that because we don't want to extend our infrastructure. We want to fill in. And so like that pot of money is directed towards something like that.
Yeah, but so that 10 million allocated and the 6 million that's been
6 million, almost 7 million
Spent.
of the original 10 that the legislature gave us has been allocated.
Okay, in terms of the OCHIP. And my question with OCHIP is it supposed to be, the scenario that I'm thinking is that somebody's looking to build housing, and then they come to us and say, hey, I want to apply for this 5,000 to help support my cause of building this housing?
Right.
Or is it, we want people to build more housing, so this is a way that they can do that? Because the 1%, 600 million and 6 million out, it doesn't sound like it drives housing. It sounds like it's supporting people that are already going to be doing housing.
Anything you can do for a developer drives housing right now. It is so difficult to build housing that anything anyone can do for them is a key factor in them being able to go forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Charles?
Hey, hi, Marty, how are you?
Charles, good, how are you?
With the, let's see, 1,700 units, that's, how many or when do we think they'll be online? Because it says there will be, or will, well, I can create, so how soon?
Everything's in different stages. I think that we've fully paid out 8 projects right now. There's a number of them that are underway. There's some that are still working themselves through. When you leave here and drive by Harrison Street above the Allen Angus, they're stripping that. That's one of the projects we're helping, and they're just got underway. But then there's a project over on Fayette Park where they're still trying to close a little bit more of a gap, where they're going to build some housing over there. So everybody's sort of at different stages, but a number of them are underway.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Questions? Any more questions for Marty? No? Okay, thank
They
you,
got all
Marty.
tired out asking Bob questions. I got nothing for them.
I was going to say.
Thank you.
Yep. Kevin?
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hopefully you can hear me. We are looking to ask for $1 million as part of the fund balance transfer. We have a number of computers that need to be purchased. The Social Services Department, namely Economic Security, and Children and Family Services have a need of 350 computers as they're no longer able to get patching and updates from the state systems. We also look to purchase some additional computers to replace those that are not certified to run on Windows 11. And Windows 10 goes off support later this year in October. The rest of the money would be utilized for investments in AI development and implementation. We already have a number of projects in the works right now that are utilizing AI. The DOT has a nice solution for smart signaling to better promote efficiencies in traffic flow during peak hours for their streetlights at specific roads in the county. The 911 is already looking at some translation services and transcription services to better support their calls. We on IT are implementing a chatbot to answer general questions via our website. We've already implemented a pilot with the Sheriff's Department site, and it's working out rather well. The SNAP program, again, under Social Services, is utilizing a number of solutions right now in a pilot program, one that supports the rights and responsibilities that need to get communicated to the callers as part of the SNAP program. They're implementing a solution to handle basic questions as part of the program as well, and along with some training AI tools as well. There's unlimited number of opportunities. The county executive has made AI a big priority with our various departments here in the county, so a good amount of that money is going to be used to support those initiatives.
Can you break down the $1 million as to how much is for hard cost versus soft cost?
The
For?
$1 million is really going to be used, well, the hard costs are for the computers,
Yeah.
about $350,000 to $400,000 for computers. The remaining amount, roughly $600,000, are more of operational type and implementation investments as well.
Okay.
And it's going to be on a case-by-case basis depending on, which departments are seeking new solutions in AI, and then obviously to support the ongoing initiatives.
Okay. Questions? Charles?
Yes, I just have one. With the 350 computers, the ones that are being replaced, are they going to be repurposed? Will the hard drives be destroyed, wiped, or what?
Well, the hard drives always get wiped. We have a number of vendors that we e-recycle through for those. Usually they're beyond end of life, and the ones that we're looking to replace are not certified to run Windows 11, as I mentioned. So that's typically what we do. We wipe the hard drives off, and then we work with a company to e-recycle those.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Brian?
Hey, Kevin. I remember a long time ago, I think it was before your time, maybe just after Dave and I got on, there was a large computer purchase, and there was a big deployment issue where it took a real long time to get them out there and stuff. I'm sure things have changed, but from authorization to actually having them out there and running, what kind of timeline are you looking at?
Well, it varies depending on, a lot of times it's a coordination on once the PCs get imaged to work on, getting people offline for a few minutes while we actually get them implemented. But have to have Paul Baker, my manager on that side of the house, really give more specifics on that. But, you know, we're probably able to turn around 100 to a couple hundred a month, you know, as far as getting them imaged and ready and set up and such.
Cool. Last question. Certainly AI has been the talk. It's the talk across all public and private industry, how to do things better. Where does the county start in that process? Is it going out and finding needs, or are we looking for a basic platform to build off of? What's the thought process? I know it's a really open-ended question, just.
Yeah, I mean, finding the right use cases are really what's important. You know, what companies out there are introducing solutions, and what types of solutions are they supporting? A lot of it is, you know, gearing up to drive efficiencies, you know, things that can eliminate manual processing or just the amount of time on the phone call with somebody. If you've got an automated system that can handle a bulk of the questions, obviously it frees up, you know, our call agents' time so that they can provide additional customer service and things like that. So, you know, we have to work with all the departments to see what the specific opportunity is. You know, AI supports so many things, machine learning and analytics, and, you know, for better decision making. And it also, you know, chatbots is a good solution right there, where you're getting automated responses. You've got document summarization, you know, it could be for the law department, let's say, as an example of a use case that they've got to read through a 100-page legal document. Can you summarize this for me in a couple of paragraphs or something like that? So it's really about making things, you know, making operations more efficient. And each department, I think, needs to come up with what, you know, their pain points are, and what, obviously we would help them in finding whatever solutions are available that might help their operations, but it's really up to them to drive it and to work with their teams on getting things implemented as we kind of work on. IT helps with integration, IT helps with evaluating the solutions for security. I mean, AI brings risks to the organization as well. If people are, you know, incorrectly sharing personal information out in the cloud, we have no control where that's going. So obviously that would be part of our policies and procedures, is to avoid doing those kinds of things. So we're getting started is not easy, because people haven't really thought, a lot of the departments haven't really thought, what can AI do? How can it help me? But some of them, we've got about 5 or 6 departments that have been on board with it and moving ahead with it. So our job is really to help them evaluate the use cases and what opportunities it may bring.
Thank you.
Odisha?
Thank you for that. We live in the IT, AI world, right? It's all about technology. I did just have a suggestion, speaking with a lot of clients and
I'm sorry, I can't really.
speaking with a lot of constituents dealing with, I don't know what's going on with this. Speaking with a lot of constituents dealing with, like, Department of Social Services and interviewing processes, AI has made it tremendously much easier for them. There's just a lot of issues dealing with the languages. Will you be implementing a lot of more languages dealing with those programs?
Social Services already uses a translation solution called Translate Live, I believe, and their customers that come in obviously don't speak English. It can help assist them with the information they need to, you know, carry out whatever requests they have or whatever needs they have. Other departments like 911 are looking for translation services as well. And yeah, there's big opportunities in implementing that kind of technology. I'm not sure if I answered all your question.
I just wanted to know if you were thinking about implementing a better technology dealing with languages. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? No, we're all set? Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Okay, now I'm going to go back. We're going to vote on all 3 together in one. You're making a motion? Okay, do we have a second? Julia, second it. All in favor? Opposed? Dan, you're opposed? Okay. Okay, moving on. We have got Sheriff. Hello.
Morning. We just squeaked in the morning. We're here today requesting to support for the New York State Legislature and Assembly bills and concurring in the preparation of a home rule request. This revolves around several police members that we discovered early on in the sheriff's administration that were inadvertently not placed in the proper retirement system when they came into the sheriff's office in the previous administration. So thankfully, our partners at County Personnel worked diligently with me to correct as many of them as we could correct, but there were a handful of them that had been outside of the time frame allowed with New York State retirement to just move them into the proper system and correct it. So it now requires this legislation be passed in order to get them into the proper retirement system. And again, a huge thanks to County Personnel for doing a lot of the hard legwork with the retirement system, and we have evaluated every police member to make sure that they're corrected in the correct system and have processes in place to ensure that this never happens again to any of our members. So,
Is this their tier?
not their tier,
Okay.
no. Actually going into the 552 20-year police retirement. Right now, they're in the wrong retirement. They're,
Oh, okay.
yes, retirement system at all.
Great. Thank you for coming, for explaining this. So just to be, so as you said, so now we've gone through everybody and we're sure everybody's in the proper spots, everything's available.
We hope so,
All right,
except
all
these
right.
6 that require legislation. I think it's 6. Might
It
be
is,
7.
it's 6, yeah. And just to say that it is understood that at this legislature, we don't do memorializing resolutions, but because of the home rule request, it's required that we do this before the legislation can be enacted there by New York State Legislature. And then to reference each one of these bills, Senator Ryan is carrying the one at the Senate, and then Magnarelli, Hunter, Sturpey, Lamonda is at the Assembly. So just to give a little background to everybody on that. So this is something that we need to do in order to fix a problem. So
Questions, Julie?
Yeah, I'm sorry, still don't get it. So they were placed, who placed them there? Our previous administration?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
and so in order to get around it, you have to have an actual, it's just like a technicality is what?
It was, and
check a box thing?
what happens is sometimes, like, members had transferred. I mean, it happens in a lot of different ways, but there's a specific form that the retirement system requires. It's called a 552 form, to place them in this special 20-year retirement program. So they did the initial onboarding, join the retirement system form, but that second form was not completed, and that's the one that the sheriff has to sign to attest that they're going to be doing police officer duties. And then that, in addition, gets sent to the retirement system. So that second form was not sent. So thereby, they're in the right tier, they're in the right everything, they just didn't get into the right plan.
So they literally need this or it won't happen?
They won't have a 20-year retirement. These 6 people will not be there.
Okay, and then Chairman, because we don't do memorializing, just to ask you again, home rule requires from the state in order for them to carry this that we have to do this as a county legislature. Am I correct? Okay, thank you very much. Yep, okay.
Yeah, this is not truly a memorializing resolution. It is a
Right.
home rule request.
Thank you.
The last time we did one of these was I believe a police officer who wanted to take the test for the sheriff's office, but was
One of my
aged-
constituents.
Exactly.
Now I get it.
So in
yeah.
those random scenarios, it does require an act of the state legislature, and we have to ask for it.
So again, these people were put into, there's 3 divisions of the New York State retirement. There's the regular, there's the police and fire, and then there's the teachers, I believe, right? Those are all under that?
No, not for us,
Not for
no,
us.
no. Police and fire, we are not in. We're in the 20-year, it's a
Okay.
552
Okay.
plan.
But it's under, Carl.
Yeah.
just wanna
You're
make
getting
sure I
above my limit of,
So what you're talking about, we are a part of the New York State and local retirement
Right.
system. The New York State Police and Fire is NYSPFS, I believe, and this is NYS LRS. Under each of those, there are different plans. So under the New York State and local retirement system, the one that all of us are in, the 30-year plan, the A15, okay, then the correction officers have a special plan, a 25-year plan, that's 89K. The police officers have a 20-year plan, that's 552. So all of those fall under the New York State and local retirement system. These folks, because the form for the 552 was not submitted, are sitting there and can only get their full retirement at 30 years and not 20 like all of the other police officers.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
thank you.
Question?
Just a statement on Mark. Being in a couple of different ones, I will say the New York State teacher one is a great one.
Do I have a motion on this? Brian, second. Charles, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Next is finance. We get correction of errors. Was it just one?
Hi, I'm Amy Wilkinson from Property Tax. We only have one correction, and it was a web correction
Okay.
going down in units.
Second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Steve? Good.
Turned it off. There we go. I should know that by now. So if you don't know, you know now. I've decided to retire from public service. My last day will be May 29th. So with that in mind, the county executive is seeking confirmation of his appointment of Chrissy Smiley to be the new chief fiscal officer. Her resume is attached. I think if you've had an opportunity to look at it, it's unmatched in terms of her experience in county government. You know, the job she's done since she's been in finance again, when she came from economic development, her role has just grown, and she's done a fantastic job running financial operations. And then when Tara Vendetti departed, she actually slid over and actually has been my right hand on the budget side too. So from a qualifications perspective, I don't think there's a resume out there or a person that can fill this role better than her. Certainly, if the committee has any questions regarding Christy, she's here. If there's any questions that the committee would like to ask her. Otherwise, that's it.
Brian?
Thank you. I've really had comparatively limited opportunity to work directly with Christy, but everything we've seen over the years has been fantastic. I think this is a great appointment, and I look forward to working with Christy. But more importantly, I just want to use this opportunity, I'll probably say it again publicly, to say, Steve, you've been a phenomenal partner to this legislature, representing both the interests of the county executive and this branch of government. In the roles I've had, various roles I've had, the help you have provided has been immeasurable, particularly through the budget process and some tough times. Sometimes, as you may recall, it hasn't been easy. Other times it's been a lot of fun, right? Doing good things. You look at the budget process over the years and how all of that translates to what county government costs taxpayers, it's phenomenal work. So I thank you for all of that. And again, I'll probably have more to say before the 29th of May, but I'd be remiss in not saying something today.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I echo the feeling. I think, you in the various positions you held and all of the legislators have made my job, not always easy, but certainly challenging. But I think we've, over the years, if I were to stay, you know, actually just about on 13 years, I've been the CFO, actually the longest serving CFO for the county, believe it or not. Joe Mariani was the first CFO of the county, and I think he was 10 or 11 years. So I think we've accomplished some great things. I think the county's financial position, you know, as I exit is as strong as it's been ever. You know, that's not all me. It's, you know, a collective effort with, you know, my boss, the county executive, my colleagues in the executive's office, certainly the team that works for me, certainly has made me look good and allowed me to do the work that I do, and certainly this body and the various leaders and legislators that have supported me throughout the years. So I appreciate those comments.
Yeah, I just want to make a thank you, too, for everything that you've done, but a quick comment about working with Christy is when I was in county government, when Steve made the decision to pull the financial aspects away from the different departments, Christy led that up and did a fabulous job. So I have absolute great faith in Christy taking over for Steve, and I think she'll do a wonderful job, and I strongly support this.
Yeah, I mean, her experience is, you know, again, I challenge anybody to put up a person that has the relevant experience for this role. You know, having worked her way through, you know, the organization and, you know, cutting her teeth on operations, and now over the last handful of years, you know, being exposed to the budget side of the house, I think that, you know, that combination of the operational experience and knowledge coupled now with the, you know, the inner workings of the budget is invaluable. You know, I don't have that experience, you know, from an operational standpoint. So, you know, the whole theory behind, you know, centralizing financial operations of all the departments centrally in finance and really, you know, under the executive was to have, you know, better information and knowledge about the inner workings from a financial perspective of the various departments. That obviously led to a more productive budget process, you know, more efficient budget process, because we know these budgets. You know, we can build a budget for the county now, really, in the first instance, fairly quickly, because of that knowledge and that expertise we've gained for being the, you know, the financial conduit for, you know, pretty much every department in county government now. So.
Good. Any questions?
I'll move it.
Do we have a second? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. And our last item is a standard workday reporting resolution. There are 3 employees listed on there. Any questions regarding those?
Move it.
Second, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. We're adjourned.